Okay, so as soon as I got home from the lavanderia, I started feeling like crap, which is a problem because today was supposed to be grocery shopping day and we're basically out. Like I don't have a stash like I might if I had lived here a little bit longer, but I'm starving and the boy is gonna be starving soon, and so I need to get some food, but I don't wanna go all the way to the market. I don't wanna be around a lot of people, so I'm just going to a nearby restaurant where I think I can get some tortas pretty quickly and then heading out. And so for now, even though I have a pounding headache, I just need to get this done so I can go home and pass out. Cause yeah, I need some kind of food in the house for the boy, cause that's life, right? So I wanted to talk about getting sick in San Cris and what getting sick was like for me, the process, all that kind of jazz. Obviously, I am much better now. So we'd been here about a week and a half when I started to feel bad. And bad really just meant body aches and not like slightly fuzzy brained and not really myself. It reminded me a little bit of strep. So my throat hurt a little bit, but it's the body aches that really reminded me of strep. And that's what I thought I had. I just thought somehow I got strep, which happens, by the way. It's one of those things nobody likes to talk about. Again, similar to the first week when Alex was not really feeling well, the dog wasn't feeling well. It was finally my turn to not feel well. It really never happened in Merida. We were really lucky, but here it's a much different climate. We're much more elevated. Just, it is what it is. Sometimes you get sick. And so while Alex was sick, I had already gone to Facebook to figure out who the doctors were, pediatricians, like what are my options in terms of getting medical care here. And of course, I'd seen lots of pharmacias as I was walking by already. So about 2 days into feeling really bad, not sleeping very well, I WhatsApped one of the local doctors, let him know my symptoms, and he was like, I'll meet you in 20 minutes. So I went to an ATM first. The negative of going to an ATM, the negative of doing things when your brain is a little bit fuzzy is sometimes you leave your ATM card in the ATM machine. We'll figure that out later. So I'm going to an ATM and I've got a doctor's appointment in like 20 minutes. So I'm gonna get some cash so I can handle that. What I really liked about this doctor, of course he was kind, he was English speaking, which especially if my brain is fuzzy, that becomes really important. So he checked all my vital signs. Essentially I was good. I did have a slight fever. My heart was beating a little bit faster than normal, which all makes sense, right? He wanted me to get tested. And so I went to the pharmacy that he recommended, which is on the very beginning of the Rail de Guadalupe on the west side, right where the Plaza 31 de Marzo is, that corner. That's the pharmacy I went to. You have to go in the morning. Now, I was told 7 in the morning, but that's just when it opens. 31 Marzo, and that is the pharmacy. So it seems to be, I don't know if it's open, but the lights are on. There are definitely people there. Okay, so she told me to come back at 7. It's 6:20, something like that now. There doesn't seem to be a line though, so that's good. And if you just had a question, they've got this little door where she'll come to you and answer your question for you. So that's really convenient. But yeah, I got 30 some minutes to kill. So it's 6:51 and there's still no line forming. Several people have popped their head in the window to ask questions or whatnot. I think even to purchase medicines, but no line forming, so that's good. But basically in the morning you go and they have appointments from 11 to I think 2:45 in 15-minute increments. And so you have to then pay for and schedule one of those appointments. So I got the 11 o'clock appointment because I was there at like 6:30. Because I'm crazy. Okay, so from here, apparently it's this guy. So at 11 is my appointment. This is the receipt I got. It was 346 pesos for the test. And if I understood her correctly, I believe she also said to bring identification for the test, which makes sense, especially because people use the test for a lot of reasons, specifically, you know, to fly back home to the US or to fly anywhere really. so they will not take you early. I have an appointment for 11. I have to wait till 11. Took the test. Of course, I was positive. And so the doctor, which by the way cost 400 pesos for me to see, the only thing he recommended for me was Tylex to help with my fever and body aches. He recommended taking a pill every 8 hours, 6 if I really needed it, but 8 hours. He recommended 2 weeks of isolation. And other than that, he really just recommended sleep, hydrate, and eat healthy. So essentially that's what I did, especially those first 4 days. I was sleeping a lot. Lots of ways. I don't know exactly which one did it, but obviously anytime you travel, you have a higher risk of getting sick. Alex got sick. Never had him tested, and I don't think it's related, but maybe. I will say that I have not been wearing my mask as diligently as I did in Merida. In Merida, wearing your mask was mandatory anytime you were outside of your house. Like if you were not actively eating at a restaurant, you were pretty much wearing your mask. The majority of the people in Merida, they're just wearing masks all the time. And so Alex and I wore masks all the time. And probably the first 7 days I was here, I was much more vigilant with my mask wearing, but I did start to kind of loosen the grips on wearing the mask all the time. And so yeah, combination, traveling, not wearing the mask as often. The precautions compared to Merida here are much less, a lot less, forcing of hand washing. A lot of times in between customers in Merida, no matter where, restaurant, appointment, whatever, like you're constantly seeing people sanitizing in Merida and you're not really seeing it as much here. This is not a judgment, by the way. I'm kind of okay with letting people get sick so that our immune system can kind of do its thing. So again, not a judgment, but just a fact that the less sanitary you are, the higher chance of getting sick. And especially after the first 7 days, I had also started to meet people here. I started to meet new moms, new families, so that we can increase and create our community here. When you increase your community, higher risk of getting sick in general. So one or all of those things factored into my getting sick. Alex has not had any symptoms, hadn't had any issues, but obviously if I'm quarantining, Alex is quarantining. And so for me, the first maybe 3 or 4 days were the worst. After that it improved, but it was probably day 8 or 9 that I would say I felt better and the quarantine was getting to me. One, because delivery here is a little bit more difficult than in Merida. The only place that's been really easy for me to get deliveries has been with the Chedraui app, which is like, thank goodness, right? Because Chedraui has a little bit of everything, so that's been really nice. But like day 9-ish, when I started to really feel better, the quarantine felt really, really heavy. And I think it is because, unlike Merida, again, the delivery was harder and my desire to explore the new city was much higher. So, but nonetheless, we of course had to maintain. It was not fun. I would say if you have to be in quarantine, I said this while I was there, Merida is probably the perfect place to be. There's just so many delivery options that you don't necessarily miss being outside as much, and it's really hot in Merida, so you're not quite as annoyed that you're forced to be inside, whereas here, the weather is just lovely, it's nice. Like you're able to go for a walk and get fresh air. And so again, I'm feeling much better now. We're back out in society. We're able to do the things we want to do. But what safety precautions am I going to take in the future? So of course, to enter any store, any building, you do have to put on your mask. And so we absolutely do that. Certain crowded areas like the Mercado, I'll probably be putting it on. But generally speaking, I'm kind of going to let my immune system do what my immune system does. I hope that Alex never experiences it because nobody ever wants their kid to be sick. Natural immunities is kind of my plan. Highly controversial topic. I know I shouldn't be making a video on this, but I just wanted to let you know kind of how my brain works. And this is the first time that I've really gotten sick for, a longer period of time, for more than a day. Whereas in Merida, really most of my sickness was headache related, and it was related to eating foods that I knew I shouldn't be eating. That being said, I have a huge question for you, which is, are there natural remedies that helps prevent getting sick, getting the common cold? What are your superfoods that you recommend having daily that will help boost our immunity naturally?